Merry Christmas, Altered Story Show listeners, and welcome to our Altered Stories Ministry History of Christmas Around the World episode featuring special guests Sandy Goff Williams, Altered Stories Ministry Board Vice President, Sara Davenport, Altered Stories Ministry Board Spiritual Director and Advisor, our pastor, Polly Sanders-Peterson, Altered Stories Ministry Prayer Pastor, and the talented Teresa Blaes, our Altered Stories Ministry volunteer blogger. This, friends, is your chief storyteller host here and founder of Altered Stories Ministry, Michelle Saunders-Gutch. And thank you for listening and watching this show that helps Christian women share their God stories so women around the world can hear them and never feel alone. Now, friends, I hope you are all enjoying the start of the Christmas season, or it could be the middle of the Christmas season by the time you hear this. But today I wanted to take this opportunity to bless all of you with this episode on a very special Giving Day, Giving Tuesday, which is a global giving day that supports charitable organizations. And if you've been blessed by one of our many God stories shared, then consider blessing us with a financial gift to help us reach our $10,000 end of year goal. You can conveniently donate your financial gift on our secure website at www.alteredstories.org. Now, friends, in this God glorifying episode, you're going to hear about the history of Christmas around the world in America, India, Barbados, Bulgaria, and Israel, where we have many listeners. So now, let's get this show started. Our first guest who will be sharing is Sandy Williams, also known as Meemaw. Welcome to the mic, Sandy. Are you ready to share?
I'm ready. And the history is so interesting about Christianity. Christianity, with a small group of 12, Jesus started his discipleship, and Christianity has grown to take on the whole planet. And there are many, many Christians in India, but the majority of Indians are Hindu, although they celebrate Christmas, and they celebrate by the millions in India, and they call Christmas Badadeen.
Interesting.
And they're celebrated by Hindus, Muslims, Christians, all of us. One of the things they do on Christmas is attend midnight mass. And they decorate with poinsettia flowers and candles, just like everybody in the U.S. does, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They have a feast of different delicacies, which would be really fun to be a part of, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
One dish is called biryanis. It's a rice and meat dish, and they exchange gifts just like we do. And some families display small clay oil burning lamps and decorate their homes with banana or mango leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you say, doesn't that sound just rich?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The mango tree is considered sacred, and its leaves are used to decorate for every special occasion. And one of the traditional foods that they always cook for Christmas, they prepare it as early as a month ahead. It's called kheer, Kheer, and it is somewhat like a Western dessert rice pudding, but it is not as thick as rice pudding and really, really easy to make.
Mm-hmm.
So we might take a look at the Indian recipes for Christmas because they sound terribly rich and wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So just think about Christmas. I think we all get all hooked up in our own little worlds, and we don't realize that there's a vast amount of world out there that doesn't look exactly like ours. But we do still celebrate a lot of the same things. And one of those things is Christmas. And Christmas comes joy. Christmas comes miracles. Christmas comes Jesus. And we don't do Christmas without Christ in our house. So I wish all of you the most joy and the most happiness this Christmas as we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ.
O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
And Polly, Miss Polly, our pastor, is going to tell us about Barbados.
I sure am. And I just want to say to Barbados out there, Merry Christmas, Barbados. Merry Christmas. You go, Barbados. Say, when I was looking up your country, I fell in love with you. Absolutely in love with you. I love your customs. They're so similar to mine here in Denver, Colorado, the Mile High State. And I just want to share some of the things that I found out about you. One of the things I found was interesting, since you don't have my snow, that you take your white sand and you spread that in your house, and you spread it so that you get the feeling of our beautiful snow here in Colorado and our high mountains. I also love the idea of your foods. I'm a foodie, and so I love your food. I love the jug casserole. I love the great cake. And your great cake sounds so much like my grandmother's pound cake made with like fruit into it. So I'm so excited about sharing that. I would love to be there to taste yours. I also love ham. I see ham as one of the main things that you have women at the table. And I love all the special casseroles. What a great table, women, that you spread. And here's some of the things that we do at our house regarding casseroles. We love sweet potatoes. We bake them, we stuff them, we make sweet potato pies. And I noticed that you use sweet potatoes too. So we have that in common. We also love green beans, and we make a green bean casserole here at my house that's yummy, yummy. And we love our mac and cheese. And I see that you love mac and cheese. Occasionally, as an African American, we will do something called our greens. That's similar to a kale or a tough spinach, but we put ham in ours, and it is yummy. So if you haven't tried our greens, maybe look for them. I don't even know if you have them on the island. You could ask me, and I could ship you some. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about how you celebrate Christ. I really love how women, especially, how you not only decorate your houses and get it festive, but how you prepare yourself for early church. You get your family ready, you get yourself ready. You are in church early to welcome God. And I love that about you. I love your heart for God. I also love the idea that after church, you go and you gather in the marketplace, and you gather and you're in your festive clothes and your warm personality and your joy and your love, and you share that with each person. I love that. I love the idea that when you gather in Queen's Park, uh, that you share great music. You're there eating again with fabulous foods. But the most important thing I love about you is you're sharing God's love with each other, and you're reacquainting yourself with each other. What a great thing to do, to get up early in the morning, worship God, and then go and meet with each other and exchange foods, joy, love, great music, and catch up with each other. I just find your fellowship incredible. I know God would love to be there. I know He is there because God says He will never leave us or forsake us. So where you are, I know God is there celebrating with you. And I just want to tell you, Merry, Merry Christmas. It was great to find out a little bit about you, your heart for God, and your special recipes. And I will look forward to catching up with you. If you have a prayer request, send that in to us. And you can send that to, uh, let's see, you can send that to www.alteredstories.org/contact. www.alteredstories/contact. So just go to Michelle's website. When you have a prayer request, we will pray over. We will join our faith together and we will pray over your prayer request. Know that we love you, Barbados. Merry, Merry Christmas, and enjoy your season. Merry Christmas, Barbados.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born.
It's my pleasure to introduce you to our spiritual great insight person, Sara Davenport. Welcome, Sara.
Hi, Pastor Polly. Good to be here this evening. What a fun and festive event. What a great idea, Michelle. And it's fun to be a part of this event. I was assigned the history of Bulgaria, and as everyone's already said, fascinating. Just when you think you might have things figured out, you learn something new. So I learned a bunch about Bulgaria's history, and let me share a little bit with you now. Bulgaria is a country in southeastern Europe, and it has a terrain that spans all the way from the Black Sea through a mountainous landscape and includes the famous Danube River. It has a population of over 6 million people, encompassing a deeply diverse history that blends Greek, Slavic, Ottoman, and Persian influences dating back well into the 5th century BC. And in addition to famous landmarks, Bulgaria is known all over the world for its famous rose oil. Russian is the most commonly spoken language, and their written word uses the Cyrillic alphabet. However, 35% of the population claims a comfortable knowledge of the English language, which makes it the second most commonly spoken language in the country. Unfortunately, during communist rule, and until about 1990, the country actually battled with religious persecution. Most of the people are Eastern Orthodox Christians, over 70%. And Muslims represent the second most practiced religion at about 10% of the population. Eastern Orthodoxy is founded in the belief of the Holy Trinity and that Jesus of Nazareth is the Messiah and Redeemer of the human race who saves the world from sin. Now, unique to Bulgaria is the way they celebrate Christmas. Most Eastern Orthodox religions celebrate Christmas on January 7th. However, Bulgaria follows the Gregorian calendar and the tradition of celebrating on December 25th. In fact, holiday celebrations begin in mid-November to recognize the Orthodox 40-day Advent fast. This fast helps Orthodox Christians prepare their hearts for the Feast of the Nativity. During this less strict fast, Christians limit the amount of the food that they eat, and they abstain from eating meat, including fish, dairy, and olive oil on Wednesdays and Fridays. They also choose smaller portions, and they eat nothing between meals. Then, on Christmas Eve, a vegetarian meal is prepared for guests. It's a tradition to invite an odd number of guests and to serve an odd number of dishes at this meal. Dishes usually include items like, think stuffed peppers, lots of dried fruit, and nuts, especially walnuts, which are cracked to determine success or trouble in the new year. Also, a round loaf of bread with a coin baked into it is portioned out by the eldest member at the table. The person who finds the coin is to be rewarded with good fortune and no cleanup after eating. The table is left as is to honor ancestors, and it's cleaned up the next day. Then most people attend midnight mass services and also carolers, typically young men dressed in traditional costumes, go house to house singing all through the night. It's believed that these songs protect against evil, and the carolers are often given food in return for their singing. Christmas Day also includes a festive meal, this time meat included, and gifts are opened as the celebration of Jesus' birth continues throughout the day. So I found that all wonderfully intriguing. Thank you so much for Bulgaria bringing me new insights in the depth of how, as Sandy put it, 12 guys got that message out there, and even with the depth of history in Bulgaria, having lots of different blended ideas and even bearing up the weight of religious persecution until relatively recently, they have found a beautiful way to celebrate the birth of Christ that joins us as far as choosing December 25th as the day to celebrate. and I think now we get even more information on yet another interesting place in the world, and Teresa's going to do that.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. Um, I absolutely love Israel. I love and Lord willing, we'll be able to go there. Uh, Regarding Christmas in Israel, it is believed in a lot of Messianic circles that Yeshua Jesus was not born on Christmas Day, even though it is celebrated on December 25th, but he was actually born during the Feast of Sukkot, which is also known as the Feast of Shelters or the Feast of Booths. If you're not familiar with this feast, it is the feast where Jews will um create what's known as like a little booth type thing. Um, it's like a little tent tent for like a better lack of a better term,
Mhm,
and it's meant to represent their time in the wilderness.
mhm.
Okay, it is believed that Christ was born during that time. Regarding some of the history, it's really interesting. When I was looking it up, um, a lot of like early history, kind of after everything was established, a lot of Christians would kind of flock towards Bethlehem because that's where Christ was born. Out of you, O Bethlehem, a child is born, and so on and so forth, right? Well, um, they would usually celebrate with like prayers and gatherings, um, and a lot of prayers and gatherings within the Byzantine era, around the fourth to seventh century, especially in the Church of the Nativity built by Constantine, in 335 AD. Sorry, I am not good with dates. Um, Christmas became a official holiday during Byzantine rule. Um, Under the Crusader influence, so during the time of the Crusaders, they revitalized Christmas. Um, festive celebrations with like concerts and public celebrations were commonly done, especially in Bethlehem.
Mhm.
During the Ottoman period, things kind of died off. Um, but they were still observed by local Christian communities. I'm gonna skip some of this, and I'm gonna go down to kind of how So that's kind of how it happened, kind of early in the early centuries. But I want to kind of jump to like what is done in Israel in modern times. Christmas is mainly celebrated by Christian communities, especially in cities um like Bethlehem, Nazareth, and the Palestinian territories, which I thought was interesting. Because you're hearing about all this Israel war and stuff like that, but there are Arabs that celebrate the birth of Christ, that recognize that he is Messiah, he is Lord. Um, these kind of celebrations include a midnight mass in Bethlehem. This is actually broadcast worldwide. In Nazareth, there are celebrations with processions, Christmas markets, and concerts. There's also multicultural festivities. That adds to a blending of traditions. So, I would just say, Israel's where it all started, and I believe that you know Yeshua was born there. Um, and you know, when you think of him during this season, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, think of him and realize that he is the light of the world. He came into the world to do something that no other person could do. He
Mhm.
came in the world to live the life we couldn't live, die a death on a cross, and be raised again. That's why he came, and that's why we're on the mic.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleeping heavenly peace, sleeping heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven above. Heavenly host, they sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to that chief storyteller host, Michelle. I'm going to hand it back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa. So, friends, wow, I cannot believe what we've learned so far about the various countries where we reach listeners. And we've actually had great ratings. And when we had our guests on from Barbados, our show went to the top of the Apple charts. It was just phenomenal. And in Vietnam and India, we have our second uh, largest amount of listeners. And Israel is growing. So that's so exciting. Now, I get the blessing of being able to share a little bit of history about the tradition of Christmas in the United States. And as many of you know, the United States is filled with all types of people from all types of background.
Yeah.
And we're a melting pot. We're quite a blend of different traditions. But I am going to give you some insight into some of the history around Christmas as a holiday. In the United States, Christmas is celebrated on December 25th, and it is known as a religious holiday. And Christians celebrate Christmas here in the United States as the anniversary of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, just like he is celebrated all over the world. Some of our popular customs include exchanging gifts, decorating Christmas trees, and oh, how we all love to do that. Attending church at various times, sharing meals with family and friends, and we have the custom of waiting for Santa Claus to arrive for those that celebrate that. Now, here's what's interesting. Christmas has been celebrated in America since the earliest days of colonization. In the early days in the 13 colonies, some of the settlers that came in celebrated their Christmas traditions from Europe. Others rejected the holiday. But in 1659, Massachusetts colonists briefly even criminalized the holiday. However, what's interesting is in the southern colonies, Christmas was widely celebrated. In the 19th century, we saw the emergence of modern commercialized Christmas and the traditions, including buying gifts for children, as I shared, decorating trees with the ornaments like popcorns, nuts, and candles, and the creation of Santa Claus based on the German Saint Nicholas. Louisiana was the first state in the United States to make Christmas a holiday, and by 1860, 14 other states had followed. In 1870, President Ulysses S. Grant signed a bill making Christmas a legal, unpaid holiday for federal employees in Washington, D.C. Americans already knew old Christmas songs that came from England and other areas of Europe at that time. So that's a little bit of history around the start of Christmas in America. Of course, there's the whole background along the way around Christianity and how that came into play. But ultimately, the holiday has been centered around the birth of Jesus Christ, and it is all over the world. It is the time in the world that we all unite as believers and as those who want to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, which is the most incredible act of mankind, where a baby came into the world as the Son of God and then resurrected and reconciled our relationship with Jesus Christ and died and went to heaven. But this holiday is so incredibly special. And what is so unique is that we all, albeit have, different ways that we choose or want to celebrate or beliefs around it, but we all come together in unity in this area. And we are all made in the image
What
of God.
child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are weeping. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds heard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him up, the babe, the Son of Mary. Why lie he in such mean estate, where ox and ass are feeding? Good Christians fear for sinners here, the silent word is pleading. Nails still shall pierce him through, the cross be borne for me, for you. Hail, hail, the word made flesh, the babe, the Son of Mary.
And so I'm hoping what I shared with you, because I could go on and share all of our personal, details around how we celebrate in our family and different ways. And I think what I really wanted to emphasize in this episode is that we all have different ways of celebration, but ultimately Jesus Christ is at the center. And so I'm hoping this blesses you. And I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to listen to this episode and to just bless us by sharing it or giving us feedback on how you were blessed by what we shared. And thanks again, everyone here, for taking the time to share with the listeners about different cultures and different places around the world and how they celebrate Christmas too. And until the next show, friends, be heard and be healed.
Altered Stories Ministry is a faith-based, nonprofit, and women's evangelistic storytelling ministry. If you enjoyed listening to today's story, your family and friends would probably benefit from hearing how God works in the lives of women all over the world, too. So please, subscribe to our show and share the link to this podcast. Share it on your social media. We also welcome your valued feedback on our stories. Also, we'd appreciate your prayerful consideration in sponsoring one of our future God-glorifying stories and welcome your tax-exempt financial donation. To find out more on how you can support our ministry, you can log on to our website at www.alteredstories.org.